let us understand how to do composite mapping in Hibernate. Okay, let us say I have a one class address. Okay, it is having some property. Let us say I have a class, another class, I have a person or customer, anything. Inside this, I can say here address 80. So what I'm doing here, I can say person has address, right? So it is having has a relationship between the person and address here. So we are trying to map this relationship in Hibernate. Okay, let us create a one project for this and try to understand through the program here. I'll just go fast here, like let us say new Java project, and I'll say here composite mapping with Hibernate. Okay, and then I say next and I just say finish. I'll go fast and create one project, new package. I'll just say here com.example. Okay, and inside that I'll create a class, just normal Pozo class. I'll just say here address. Okay, and then I'll create another class, say new class. I'll just add here customer again here, say customer. Okay, finish it. So I added this two classes, address and customer, right? I'll do the coding. Now next I'll just add Hibernate capabilities again here, so all the jar file will come. Add Hibernate capabilities. I'll just select the first one and say next. I'll say next, and I'll select the driver which we have created earlier and which I am keep using throughout the application. I'll select the package. Okay, and I finish it. So this is my configuration. We can add here that HBM2 auto equal to update. Okay, and I can just add so SQL statement true. Okay, so save this configuration and I'll make one utilities file, the last example that I have given. I just copy this to HBM and util file from here. I'll go back and paste it here. So what I have done here in this util, Hibernate util, I just created one static session, and if you can see this code here, that example I given in the here, if you can see programmatic, uh, yeah, in this example I've explained this whole concept to you, that this util will have, this is the only code we are having in the, now I'll have the same cus.hbm.xml file, so I'm keeping this same, and this is my another property, so SQL and HBM2. Yeah, now so just save this code and come back to here. We'll write the code of the customer and address here. So what we'll write in address, let us create some private field, private, I have a string house number. Okay, house number. I'll make a private string street number. Okay, private, what you want else, string city. If you want more, just keep going on and keep adding more address details like state, country, all these things you can add now. I'll just say here right click and source, and I'll say getter and setter, generate getter and setter. I'll just check here this two. If you explore here, it is saying that you want the getter setter both. Yeah, I want that. I just say okay. So you can see the whole code of your address class, right? It is having three properties and the getter setter for all the property. Okay, so this part has done. Now come to the customer. In the customer, what I said, we are going to explain composite mapping. So let us say I have customer. I'll just say here private string customer ID. Okay, and then I'll make a private string first name, private string last name. Okay, I have not given here, I just say here cust ID. Okay, cust ID. And what else, last name we have done. You want a private some integer value, let us say customer age, and then I want customer address. So what I'll do, I'll just do private address. Already we have taken address now, and I'll say here address. So I'm creating object of the address class here. Now I'll just right click here and say source getter setter method, check all these checkbox, click OK. So I'm ready with getter setter, get address, set address, right? So whatever the address object we're having, like house number and city and all, it will come to here. So I'm using here, right? So address is having like customer has an address, right? So it is has a relationship between the customer and address. So I can say has a relationship between customer and address, right? So how we'll do this mapping, let us understand in the HVM file. So I just close it. Okay, now I'll go to the cust HVM file here. I'll do the mapping now. So look it carefully, the mapping of composite mapping now. So what we are doing here, class name customer, table is my cust. Let us say I'll just say cust. Okay, cust something, let it be cust only. Okay, so composite ID, I don't have a composite ID here. I'll just say here ID, name equal to what, I have a cust ID. If you remember, just open the customer, I have a cust ID here. So I'll say here ID is my cust ID, right? And class I'll not give. If you're looking for some column and all, you can give the column name, but if you want the same column name, you can leave it as it is. So close it. If you want auto number, you can go for that. but I'm not doing any of these things. Okay, now property. Next is the first name, last name, and age, right? So I can say your name, first name. Okay, and then I can say here property. Age is also there, right? So just copy paste now. I'll make it here last name, right? So this has been done, and then we are having age. Just look at this customer. We are having first name, last name, age, and cust ID. These are the four fields we are having. So cust ID has been done, first name, last name, and age. So four field has been done, right? Next mapping we have to do. Column is not required. If you need another column name, if you're having same column name, just let it be like this only. Next we are having a property which is a address, right? So that is not a normal property. It is a kind of component which you are using in the customer class. So here you have to take a component, third value, component, name what you want to give, say address. For this component, what class you are having? So I have a class equal to, what is the class name? Address, right? Now this address class is having what property? So just say here property name equal to, if you remember, house number I have given, right? Similarly you can add all the property which you have done for address. So what are the property we have? Just we'll open and see once. House number, street number, and city. So house number, come back to here, house number, street number, and then we are having, say, city. Okay, so this is the mapping which we have done for our composite mapping now. Okay, so I'm done with mapping here. Now next what we have to do, we have to make one manager class. Okay, so in the manager class we'll have a main method, and in that we'll try to use address and customer here. So let us try to make it here one class. I'll just say here new class, and I'll say customer client. Okay, it will have a main method, just finish it. Okay, what other stuff we have to do? We'll just go to the database and we'll create a table here, create table customer. Earlier we are having details and item details. Let us make a customer table here, and I'll say here ID I have, or customer ID or CID you can take. It is what is a customer ID which we have taken? I just go to here. It is a type of a string, so we'll take a varchar, okay, and varchar say size is 5, okay, and this will have a primary key. So let us say primary key now, and then first name, again it is a varchar, okay, 20, last name varchar 20, age is the int, right? What else we are having? So this we have done, first name, ID, name, age, and all. Next we have to do the house number, street name, and city, right? So I'll say here house number. So I have to just check what kind of type I have taken for the address. So all are a string here. So I'll just make a house number as a varchar, right? Varchar say 30. Okay. House number is varchar and there's a street number, right? Street number, yeah, street number. I'll say here varchar here again. I'll say 30 and then there's a city. Again I'll say varchar. I'll say 30 now. So I'm done with all table creation. I just say here engine equal to inodb. Done. So select star from customer. So there's no record here. I have to just do one changes with the mapping file, that for ID I given the different column name. So just say here column is CID, right? I given the column name CID. Yes, column name is the CID. So just we have mentioned, and rest is all same. So no need to write column name. Okay. So table creation, mapping and all has been done. We'll come back to the customer client and we'll create object of address now. So address A1 equal to new address, right? And then A1 dot what? Set. What set? Set house number. So house number is, let us say, G5, G hyphen 5, okay. And I'll say here A1 dot set street number, or a street name you can pass it here. Street number is say Royal Meridian 5, block 5. Will it come? I think the size which we have given 5, 10, let us say just hyphen 5, okay. So I think the 5, 6, 10, yeah, it will come now. And then A1 dot set city. So let us say I have a city is, I have a city of, I can California, okay, California. Done. It's giving, just give a space here. So add this object created now and set the value. Another I have to do the customer C1 equal to new customer, right? And then C1 dot add what? Sorry, C1 dot set. So set customer ID. I'll just say here C001. So C1 dot set first name, right here Tom. C1 dot set last name and just say here Tom Bruce, okay. C1 dot set age, right, and age is a 40. Done. Next is the C1 dot set address, right. This address is looking for address type. What is address? A1, right. Close it. So I'm done with object creation of my POSO class address and customer. So this customer has address A1. A1 is address type here. Now we'll do and get a configuration here. Session says equal to Hibernate, that utilities which I have created here. If you remember, this is Hibernate util now. So I'll just say here Hibernate util dot session. I'll got the session now. I'll just here I just control a space bar, it will import it. So after getting the session, what I have to do now, session dot begin transaction, and I'll say session dot save. What save? C1. C1 is my customer that I want to store in customer table here, cust table. Okay, and then session dot get transaction dot commit dot commit dot commit. Done. So if you come back to here, if you can see this previous which we have written the code here, that this is my cust client, right? Sorry, this is my customer class. Just close this file now. So what was my table here? I have a customer table, right? But what we have mentioned here, I mentioned a cust, so make it here customer, right? Customer table, and customer is my class here. Let us run this client now, customer client here. So here we are saying that customer has address, so it is composite mapping here has been done. Let us save this whole project and just say here right click, run as Java application. We'll see if error comes. It has been done, no errors. We'll come back and check the customer. So if you have noticed here, that record has come. So this record is my in my customer, and this record from here to here, right? The street number, house number, and city is in address. So I'm getting one record here, right? So that's all about